Hey guys, I wanted to do another video on guard retention. This time I'm going to talk about the balance between staying tight to defend more Toreando knee cut passes.
When I'm playing my guard, one of the big problems people have is like opening this elbow knee space, right? So if I'm on my back and I try to keep my knees tight but my head's down and my hips down, it's hard to maintain this position tight. So one thing that helps you keep this tight is by doing a really tight crunch. Right? I'm actively trying to bring my knees tight and I'm doing like a sit-up, right? So if I'm here, just to exaggerate how strong this is, just grab this with both hands. See, if I'm here and just pull that outward, you see how like I'm spinning? It's because I'm keeping this so tight, right? When you do that as well, if you do it like this, I see people do this, you can't do that either because you need to have your hands active for gripping, framing, and defending, right? So generally I'm tight like this, like crunched into a tight ball. I'll have my feet moving. If they're trying to make initial grips, I'm often like moving my feet. I'm trying not to kick her in the face, but you have to keep your feet moving. At the same time they're doing that, I'm looking for grips. So I get sleeves. If she's standing close, I might grab an ankle to go to De La Riva. She backs up a lot, then I might sit up,
And now I can grip fight from here, right?
so one thing though that can happen is when you're doing this, if the person does get their hands under your ankles like this, and I stay tight and I keep pushing up here, you'll start getting stacked. And even if you're really flexible, you never want to let yourself get stacked like that with your hips off the floor. Go ahead and start stacking there. See, if my hips come up, it doesn't matter how flexible I am, even if she lets go here. If she has my knees behind my back like this, I can't get my feet back in play, right? So I'm kind of stuck here. So what you have to find is there's this balance between the anti-stack motion, which I did a video on before, so go ahead and start pressing up, where I kind of more open my legs and arch my low back, and see I drive my head down, and I open my shoulder blades. So if she starts stacking here, like this, I can kind of walk back, and eventually I'll kick my feet off to come back down. But once I come back down, if I stay in this position, now she can start knee cut, Toreando, because my legs are down. So what will happen is like I'll be fighting here, and you start kind of entering for grips. I'm being really difficult, and if I mess up, she starts stacking. Yeah. See, I'll go out, and once I get here, I'll kick these off, and I come right back into that crunch, right?
So it's really important to find that balance like that, right?
So just to go again, so you back up and just kind of start entering like you're going to do a Toreando or something, and then try to mix a stack in. Yeah, like this. Here, I go like that, and then see, I keep my feet moving, right? One thing that often happens here is she gets that C grip under your ankles, right? So the more I press down, the more I'll drive myself up when she gets that, right? So keep pushing here. See, I'm driving myself up. So what I want to do is that anti-stack motion, but to finally get off of that grip, I have to kick my foot upward. You see that? If I go fast like this, it leaves that gap. So I'll go up and then move inside and down, right? So in real time, it's very fast, right? So if I'm here, she starts stacking, I go like this, and then I kick it up and kick off and move in, okay? And again, if you start to get stuck in the reverse, like where you start going up here too much and then she starts switching to push the legs down, right? Now you have to come back into that tight crunch. See, it's way easier to get your feet in. It's way easier to move. When you're in a tight crunch as well, there's less of your back on the mat. So when you're in that tight crunch, if you think of like a top, right? If you try to spin a book, it's not gonna spin, it's just gonna move a little bit. If you have a top, there's a small point of pressure. So when you're in that tight ball, it's like this is your body and you curl up into this, so there's one small point and it makes it easier to spin to recompose. So I'm here like this, she starts passing like this way maybe. See here, it's easier to move, right? Go ahead and stand there, it's fine. Watch this, just stay there, you're good. Watch, here it's really easy to spin, right? Just because you're tight. If you're flat like this and you try to spin, you don't move, right?
So that's kind of the idea. It's a small thing. That's that grip fight phase between when you're in an actual position and when you're trying to set up the grips. But that's where a lot of jiu-jitsu happens, is in that mid battle, right?